Welcome everyone to today's webinar. Thanks to everyone who can join live and everyone who gets to enjoy this on demand. We hope you're all doing well. I'm calling this webinar Fast Tracking Your E-Commerce Business. It's how to launch an Oracle CX Commerce B2B site in 2 weeks with Object Edge and a new accelerator that we're excited to talk to you about. So in just a second, I'm going to hand this over to Adam Thibodeau, who will walk you through this webinar.
As Sarah said, my name is Adam Thibodeau. I'm responsible for sales at Object Edge. I'm super excited to be talking with you about this topic. We've been working on this for some time. We really feel like this is a game changer in the B2B e-commerce space. So when you think about today and what success looks like for a business in April 2020, successfully meeting your goals could mean rapidly adapting to having your field sales reps grounded, unable to travel, or your call centers being overwhelmed. In situations like these, you need to respond in a matter of days and weeks rather than months or years. In fact, today we're going to be talking about just that, getting a B2B channel live in 2 weeks, then rapidly launching new features in days or weeks thereafter. This helps you respond to the market, but it also gets you to revenue and therefore ROI much faster. For example, if today you buy a platform like Oracle CX Commerce or OCC, and it takes you 6 months to implement, you'll be paying license fees and implementation fees with no immediate return. By launching in 2 weeks, you'll be earning revenue before you pay your first invoice. And that's extremely powerful. As I was saying, in the past, traditional approaches require many months and sometimes years before a company could launch a B2B online channel. Organizations had to build a strategy, document requirements, evaluate and select vendors, then implement and then launch the channel. This entire process could take years. So today's business climate doesn't afford that luxury, and companies need to move quickly. There is no time to assemble and engage a task force with long-term company roadmaps to deliver an e-commerce solution, because the reality is we are already late. So success has a completely different definition. It has to be near-term and low risk, but also pragmatic. Therefore, to do this right means that you are going to have to ruthlessly prioritize the baseline experience that you're going to launch day one. Second, you're going to decide which customers you will launch to, and then 3, you'll need to be operationally ready. So out of those 3 items, we're going to talk about them real quick. First, when you ruthlessly prioritize the experience you want to launch with, you have to decide what you need to start with. You can't handle all of your business processes day one, but you can start with a solid baseline. You need a basic buy flow to be able to basically find products and add them to a cart. You need to be able to accept the payment or provide a quote. You also need to be able to show a receipt, an invoice. And then finally, you also need to easily take questions or answer any questions via phone number, chat, or email. These are the core functions of a B2B online experience. You're not looking to build the Rolls-Royce of your dreams on day one. You're really looking to start out with a baseline. Second, you also need to pick your customers. This might sound odd. Why wouldn't you open this to all of your customers? Well, in B2B, as you may know, different customers have different contracts and can also interact in different ways. So the best thing to do is start with a baseline, with a certain set of customers. And we recommend creating a high-level customer segmentation to figure out which customers you want to launch to first. And you want to identify your most straightforward customer base, customers with a high frequency of purchases that are familiar with your catalog and know what you want. These are the people who call up and can easily talk to somebody and say, I want 3 of item 4, 5, 6, 7, for instance. So it is these customers that will be easiest to serve and provide a self-service channel. Third, getting operationally ready. Third is getting operationally ready. What does it mean to be operationally ready? It means that you have to have IT and business resources dedicated to handling operational aspects like deciding and prioritizing which enhancements to offer next, documenting the enhancements, developing enhancements, and the ongoing support, plus testing, infrastructure, and maintenance, analytics, etc. You may have the ability to prioritize which features and functions you want, but the reality is if you don't have a channel today, you probably don't have all of the other resources to execute. In this case, you'll want a solution that comes with a built-in operational support. So in conclusion, if you want to launch in 2 weeks, you're going to need to launch a site with a baseline experience that sits on top of an enterprise class platform like Oracle Commerce Cloud, now known as Oracle CX Commerce. You want a baseline experience. It means having the key B2B features core to doing business with features your customers intuitively understand and can quickly navigate. You can use this baseline experience or templated experience. You want to use this baseline experience or templated experience because it helps you launch quickly, letting you leapfrog design and development time and cost. Design and development are valuable down the road and arguably even more valuable as your channel matures. But you need a baseline experience and you need an enterprise level platform because although you could look to Shopify or BigCommerce for a quick launch platform, you must remember you're not only building this for now, we are setting the foundation for the future. Where these solutions fall short, like Shopify and BigCommerce, where they fall short is when you get to more complex business needs. Ultimately, you need a platform that has the right data models, B2B pricing capabilities, account management structures, and product data management to support you down the road. You want to pick the right base experience and the right platform for both short-term and long-term success. So here's how we do this. Here's a chart that helps visualize how you prioritize and get baseline capabilities up in 2 weeks. This balances features, automation, and time. I'm going to say that again. It balances features, automation, and time. If you start off with a good baseline experience, it's really the integrations that take time. You start off with all the features and functionality, but having the flows back to your backend and all those integrations is what needs to happen next. So in the first 2 weeks, you need to capture payments, pay taxes, and those are the core elements, being able to take payments and then also calculate taxes. So you can look at using something like Stripe, which can be set up in a few hours, then Avalara for taxes, so that your bases are covered. Those are the baseline items. However, things like your catalog, your pricing, taking orders, those are all things that you can upload nightly or that you can manually work with. With the orders, these need to be entered into your ERP system. So maybe you send the confirmations via email and manually keystroke, enter the orders into your ERP, and account load can be done manually as well. Because you prioritized your customers and your customer service is just entering it in rather than taking phone calls, that'll be effective, and that will allow for you to manage the workload because it's something that you've been doing anyway. Instead of you taking a phone call, you'll be actually looking at data and rekeying the information into the ERP system. In terms of experience, we look at it the same way. We launch with a standard buy flow, accounts, quotes in 2 weeks. Maybe you want quotes rather than a buy button to start. For ERP integrations, which are more complicated, we might look at having those live within about 10 weeks. So when we roll out invoice payments, maybe your accounts receivables are at home. Your account receivables team is at home or furloughed or can't issue past invoices. So you can move those to online and collect those payments later as we go through this and provide things like past order history, quick order in the upcoming weeks. But if you say, look, I really need to get my catalog, inventory, and pricing pulled in automatically, and believe me, we understand that manual entry is not easy, but it is possible. And when time to market is super important, these are things that are executable by a team, especially on a temporary basis. So what we want to talk about here is what is possible now. It's not about having everything working perfectly before we deploy a year from now. And so deployment deployment a year from now might be the right choice for some of us out here, but for those of you that are trying to get things live right now, we want to start with this bare minimum. And so this may sound painful. This is not perfect within the first 2 weeks, but this pain in getting started would only be temporary. Within the coming weeks, you'll be able to prioritize integrations, and those integrations will start coming online and become more automated. And then over time, that pain will pass, and then things will move slowly. But the key is that you will have done live within 2 weeks, collecting revenue and working with your customers and shifting them to self-service, making it very, very profitable. So, okay, Adam, great. Thanks for showing this to us. But what does this look like? What does this baseline experience look like? Well, next I'm going to turn this over to Dalen Reyes, who is going to show you what the baseline experience looks like. Thank you. Dalen?
Thanks, Adam. Hi, everyone. My name is Dalen Reyes, and I would like to walk you through some of the key features you should be looking for when considering a baseline experience to deploy bite-sized packs at eCommerce. What you're looking at here is something you can imagine to launch in a couple of weeks, as long as the B2B platform you buy has ready-made templates. In this case, we're looking at the Oracle with the Commerce Edge experience, but there are more for Oracle, and other platforms are now doing the same. This template is more focused on shopping, but depending on your needs, you can also look for templates that focus on other things, like self-service, for example. When you launch with a template, the content and images you see are placeholders, but the features are fully built out. In theory, starting tomorrow, you could load your catalog with your SKU numbers, prices, descriptions, and images, and literally within a couple of minutes, you'd have a fully set up store. The key you would have to be okay with to launch so quickly is that most of the loads would be done manually. In the case of this template, manual just means loading an Excel file. You may want to speak with an expert on how to craft your business processes to handle these manual processes. Again, though, the thought here is to launch quickly with something the customers love. This is where templates and modern headless platforms like Oracle can really help. Now let's start looking at some of the B2B template features you could potentially launch within 2 weeks, so you can start applying these thoughts to your own business. Instead of going through a typical B2C experience, you will want to look for templates that support more B2B buy flows, such as quick order forms, where your customers should be able to leverage experiences like predictive search to find your products either by name or SKU, to quickly add multiple items to the quote or cart. This type of feature would work regardless of whether you manually load your products or have some type of automated feed. Once your customers have quickly added their products, you can have them go directly to the cart, where they could update or remove items, continue shopping, request a quote, or go directly to checkout. Now, in the template that I am showing, there are multiple levels of buyers. Generally, you wouldn't have that if you launched within a couple of weeks. This is something that you would typically launch in week 6. The reason again is data. Your first 2 weeks would be spent getting in your catalog, whereas over the next few weeks, you would work on getting in other data like customer hierarchies organized and loaded in. So imagining that you had your customer hierarchy in, from here, non-admin level buyers will be prompted to select from a list of pre-approved shipping and billing addresses. If a customer with administrative access doesn't see the address that they need, they can click here to access the Add a New Address portion of the Accounts Management page with the expanded address form. In the 2-week version of the store, all customers could have access to changing the addresses, like in B2C, or you could elect for no one to have access, and it would be done in the back end. Again, it's a choice between features, data, and time. Okay, so in the 6-week version of the site, users with administrative access may add or edit existing users. They can manage company addresses or basic company information. All users should be able to edit their own account information when they need to, including their name, email, and password. Back at the checkout, your customer can go ahead and finish this transaction. Orders can be processed either through credit card, ACH, or e-check. Users will be prompted that their order has been placed successfully and given a quick readout of the pertinent order information. From here, users can choose to either continue shopping or view their order list. In the 2-week version of the site, look for templates that have pre-connected payment gateways such as Stripe. Just like Adam mentioned, you can use tools like Stripe for getting cash into your accounts quickly. Down the road, once you have more features loaded in, you can integrate with your clearinghouse of choice. If you want ACH in the first release or 2, be prepared to collect the ACH account information on the website, but then receive some sort of secure email where you will enter the account information manually to complete the payment. Again, in week 6 or 12, you could have something like this fully automated. The orders page aggregates all the orders placed by the user in a way that's easy to sort through. Your customer should be able to search for an order either by order number. I'm just going to pick the first one I see. Or even by individual SKU. They should also be able to quickly access order details. Some additional functionality should they need to return an order or speak to a customer representative, and associated invoices, which are also aggregated in their own landing page where they can be easily searched for or sorted through. In the 2-week version of the site, you should make it clear to your customers that they can only see orders that they placed on the site. You should plan to have your historical orders loaded in from other systems in the week 12 mark. All right, the last thing you can look at is a great self-service feature, like viewing and paying invoices. Since this is more of an advanced B2B feature, you should only expect to see invoices at the 2-week point, specifically only invoices for orders placed on the site. Depending on how your back office is set up, you could potentially start seeing invoices for orders placed outside the system by week 6. Paying invoices requires more ERP integration, so I would recommend planning for that in week 12 or 16. Again, With enterprise-level templates in e-commerce, the initial time that it takes to launch a store is not in adding more features, or what some are now calling experiences, but it's in automating the back-end data loads and helping operations so that your team spends less time working on the business and more time working in the business. I would strongly recommend you consult with those that have a lot of e-commerce experience to help work through which balance of features, automation, and time are best for you. By the way, I should also add that this isn't new. In fact, you've probably seen something like this in B2C, Shopify being a great example. But the issue we've all faced as manufacturers and distributors is that B2C class platforms like Shopify can't handle B2B business complexities. Now, however, enterprise class softwares like Oracle and others give you the same quick setup templates and features, but geared toward B2B, and they can support your business needs as your business grows and evolves. I hope this gives you a sense of clarity on what to look for in B2B baseline experiences. Thank you, and back to you, Adam.
Hey, thanks, Daylin. All right, I'm going to go back and all right. Okay, questions. So we have a couple of questions that come in. Would like to invite some more if you have a moment. If you don't mind, Sarah, if you could read out some of the questions that have come in.
Sure. Yeah, and thanks, Adam. Thanks, Daylin. We've had a couple questions come in, and yeah, if anyone has any more, you can add them in the little questions panel in that little GoToWebinar box. So the first question is, how much can I customize the front end?
Sure. Well, first off, we do start with the baseline experience if you want to go live in 2 weeks. But if there are some, and with that baseline experience, we can actually change things like logos and equity color. So if your colors are blue versus red, we can match whatever you need from a branding perspective. So that way if you have a website today and you're moving to that new experience, it wouldn't be completely off. We can adjust footers and headers as well. So from that perspective, we can make it look at least like it is your company. The second thing is, as far as customizing the experience, we would actually recommend that you start with our baseline experience and then customize as you go. Now, if you want to actually launch or don't need to launch in 2 weeks, and you want to launch, Daylin was giving examples of 6 or 10, we could certainly start making adjustments and changes to the experience. And what we would do is we would just we leverage agile methodology, and we would just be managing and updating that experience as we go, and releasing new feature functions and experiences thereafter. All right, next question.
Actually, Adam, if I may, we also do have a couple more template options. So this is only one of the templates that we're showing. We have templates that are geared towards self-service, or templates that are geared less in shopping and more in like a dashboard feel. So there's definitely options as well.
Great, thanks so much, Daylin. That's exactly right.
Great.
Sarah, next question.
Thank you both. So one more. What if I have a specific customer pricing that I need to integrate on day one?
So if you want to start day one, you could actually do a manual upload. If you have the pricings that you can extract from your ERP system, and we can put it into a certain format, we can load the specific pricing. But it is a manual. When I say manual, you're not keying each price, but it is a process of exporting it into spreadsheets and then importing it in via API. It wouldn't include a full integration. That would certainly be something that we would do long term, but for the initial release in a short-term basis, if you needed customer-specific pricing day one, we could load it into a spreadsheet and then bring it in via API, as I said before. Okay. Any other questions? We haven't seen any others come in. Would anyone like to submit any? Sarah, any new ones coming in?
That's what we've got. I think we're good.
Okay. All right. So you can always reach out to me. My name is Adam Thibodeau, as I mentioned before. Very easily, I'm adam@objectedge.com. You can also go to our website, and that we have some reference information online for Commerce Edge, and you can take a look at that online. But again, feel free to reach out to me, adam@objectedge.com, and thanks again for attending the webinar. Hope you had a great day and enjoyed the webinar. Thanks.